Alright, so I wanted to post an update on my website. I actually improved it recently. I can show my old version of my website that I'm running locally. Originally, I had this grid of my projects, and what would happen if you clicked one is it would take you to the website of the project. Let me turn off my dark reader there. And that's pretty good, but I've actually looked at some other people's portfolio sites and just done some reading, and it sounds like a much better idea to have the project, to have my portfolio site have some descriptions instead of just linking right to the projects. So I've added that. You can notice the difference here is on my original setup. These are links, so I'm using the finger pointer mouse, the mouse pointer cursor, and these don't have it because they are not links. I've read that that's good UI, is that only links use that pointer. Now, what happens now is when I click, I have this animation, and I may want to reduce that motion because it's a lot of motion for a full screen. On a mobile, it's better. But now we have some pictures and a description of the project, and you can go to the bottom here and either go back to the main menu and click a different project and get another kind of synopsis and description, or you can use the next project button and it will take you to the next one in the list. And so this was, it seems pretty simple, but I used CSS transition, the component, I think it's like CSS transition group, or it's CSS transition. It's like a React component that you can, an NPM package that you can download. And I've used it a few times before, but there's always some weird gotchas, and I had some transition issues, and I actually have to have two kind of subcomponents here so that one can transition out and one can transition in, and then they swap places. And sometimes I still run into some weird kind of visual glitches where it's like React isn't keeping up with, like, the component doesn't render fully before the animation starts. So I'll have to look into that some more. Another issue I actually had to fix and ran into is when a user first views the website and is on the home, basically with this home page at this main menu grid, these, even though it's the same page, it's a single page application, these components don't load and tell you kind of right when the animation starts. And so the images weren't caching, and so it would animate in, and then the images would load kind of afterwards on the first time until they were cached. And so I've actually gone in and kind of found like a hacky fix on Stack Overflow, of course, where you go in and you use a for loop to add a virtual element to basically add virtual elements that aren't in the actual DOM but are loaded into the JavaScript. And if I check out my main, we can see that down here we have this. At the very top I have a constant where I have all the links that I want to pre-cache, and then down here in my use effect I have images to preload, and I iterate through them, and then I add them as new image elements with the source, and that causes the browser to basically preload them. And I've found I'm running into some weird issues just talking about my website, because in a single page application like a normal website, these would be separate pages, right? Because we've changed the content, but I'm still technically on the same page, and I could use React Router to set this as a separate page, but the content down here doesn't change when this changes. But yeah, that's what I've updated so far.